No, I'm
gonna be
low key
quiet.
shallow, and I have admitted that to myself a long time ago.
You know, sometimes the, I guess, physical attraction will make you accept
Yes.
some bullshit that you wouldn't accept.
Isn't that how we get? Isn't that how we get into fucking relationships?
Yeah.
Basically,
yo,
honestly,
This is an idiot.
No,
She
but
beautiful.
it's the other way around.
no, that's because
It's
people.
the other way around, really.
What you mean?
The not the physical aspects. It's the
It could be both.
Person.
person that
Heart.
yeah, the heart.
You lying?
No, that
No, because you're not
No,
going out
it
with
is
an
the
ugly heart, an ugly man with a nice heart.
That's not what she's saying.
exactly.
saying?
I'm
Rod
saying
wave?
it's the other way around.
Okay.
So even if you have certain icks or you're not attracted to something about someone, what's on the inside will help you forget about that.
I mean, we be having a good time.
No,
we
it don't
vibing.
help
Yes,
you
it-
forget.
yes, it
help
does.
you accept. You know what the fuck is right there?
Right, but that is more likely than it being the other way around. You're not about to put up with bullshit just because, yeah, that girl's really fine.
Well, I'm speaking from a guy's standpoint, and yes, the fuck we will. Because sometimes all I want is something nice to look
y'all
at.
y'all the dummies.
Yeah, but some women stick around because the dick's good.
Something with who?
Some women stick around because he's got a good dick. So he could be a trash dude. But if you stick around because he's got a good dick, then you know
That's
what you're getting
providing
into.
a service, though.
Oh, okay.
That's not because he looks so good. He doing something.
So
Are you like,
wait, what? He's got to be fine according to you to even get into the door to give you the good dick.
Right?
So
Bonuses all around.
okay. Oh God,
Don't listen to me. I'm confused.
I'm not.
yeah, I'm not.
I'm not.
I'm
I
confused.
said I'm confused.
I mean, I'll say this. I think when you have to do any sort of comparison as far as being in a relationship, you really have to look at like the 80-20 rule, 75-25, because no one is perfect, including, yourself. So there are some things you're going to have to look past or accept or deal with, or would you say put up with?
Tolerate.
Tolerate. But it's because there's 80% working against the very small 20%. There's tons of things that we put up with in our relationships.
Do you think that today we have, personal opinion, we have more people not even accepting 80 or 75? They want the 100% or nothing?
While not being 100%.
While not
Themselves.
while not knowing they're not 100%.
True.
Yes.
Some
I
of them
do.
think that they are 100, and I'm like,
Well, don't
and I
most?
think that's why. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I just think that's why people leave their relationships thinking that they're gonna end up in something better, but they end up literally in the exact same predicament because nothing about them has changed, and they've likely attracted the exact same person.
so I'm glad you said that. So I was going to ask here on the panel,
That was good.
You know what I did?
do you feel as if this is all your personal life experience, that even your exes and maybe the person that you're currently with, or maybe a lot of your exes were very close in terms of the same?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
What about you, Amanda?
No.
Mine are
you've been-
absolutely.
But all of my relationships have been spread.
There's
so
only two of
apart.
them.
Exactly, but they were. No, there were three.
Actually,
there
I
was two and a
forgot.
half. Two and a half.
There's a
But-
half. There's a half a relationship.
But no, they were like spread apart. So I know I wasn't the same person. I didn't attract.
So, and that's the thing. So I wanted to ask, given that, because I'm going to say yes to that question as well. I don't know if it's so much attracting things to you, because very much can be the case. But do we ever understand or think about, like, we like what we like?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, this person is the same. My ex is the same as this person. The only difference is that this person might have a fatter ass, and I wanted a fatter ass that my ex didn't. So I'm willing to tolerate the same bullshit because I got the same thing, but I got one more piece to the puzzle.
A little better.
I got a little bit better.
Now you're at 83.
Yeah, no,
You're at
I'm
80.
78. And then that one don't work.
Now you're at 80.
Yeah, now I'm at 80. And, I think that they're all kind of the same in my personal life. And I realized I'm like, well, maybe it's not that I'm attracting it. It's just that that's what I'm attracted to. You know?
I think it's a combination of also what about yourself having you change that you keep attracting that.
Yeah.
Because I
Why
feel
do
like
you
once
desire it?
well, you desire
that's
it from a place of trauma,
Yeah.
from your past traumatic experiences. So you're bringing that into your new shit, and you're not trying to change it or work on it. So you're going to just keep repeating the cycle. So until you fix yourself, you're going to get the same exact thing over and over and over again.
What if it's not trauma? What if I just like it? Like let's take away.
But I think I think there is something that causes you
to attach
to
to.
like that and to have failed relationships and then still continue to like that.
That's
But
the
maybe
something
you're
that
not
caused it.
seeing it as a problem. Maybe you're not seeing yourself
Right.
having an issue in your relationships. And
And
that's why you continue
Exactly.
thinking you're going to find better in each and every one of them.
which is why you have to fix yourself
you don't
before
find better,
you.
and I guess technically you find something else that's better, but it's still the same person.
Just a little 2-3% difference.
Yeah.
So,
It's like I just need it because you know what? Like I mean, I don't know. In my life and relationships, I'd be like, if I just had a little bit, just a little tweak. This person had a little tweak, it'd been all right. Then I get the person with the little tweak. I'm like, all right, well, this one still need a little more tweaking.
I agree.
And then you just keep on turning the knob, and you back at square one.
Yeah, but is it because
But-
you haven't changed?
Yeah.
No, of course, but I'm saying that what I'm attracted to, I guess what I'm attracted to can change if I personally change too.
Absolutely.
I think what Roman's getting at is, have you ever looked back at any of those relationships and said, if I was just a little bit this, or if I was a little less of this,
Which would have been the tweak.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, let's say if I was not disciplined, okay, in my first relationship, now I'm like, all right, I realize I need to do some self-work. I got to get disciplined, right? I got to get disciplined. I got to create better habits. So now that relationship ends, and now I go, and now I adopt this new way, you know, this discipline and these better habits. I'm staying focused. So now I'm changing, but I still like
Hoes.
a hoe, well, let's say, or I still like a woman that is showing off her sex appeal. You know what I'm saying? And I'm attracted to it, but I'm doing the self work, but I'm just attracted to something that's no good. You know what I'm saying? Is there do we think that there could be a way where somebody can actually be continuously working on themselves? Like, is dating and vetting somebody who can be in alignment with you a skill?
Wait. Say it again.
Is dating and finding someone who is in alignment with you a skill?
Yes. And I would say that it's a skill because, one, you have to have a level of self-awareness. You also have to be able to tell the difference between what you need and what you want. And I think you have to be able to identify people's like issues and whatever the trauma is behind it and come to a conclusion yourself as to whether there's something you can deal with or not. Because sometimes you have people who are willing to stick it out and mold this person or to help fix them or whatever, and then it may not work out in their favor. And so now you love holding the bag. And I think that you have people who see that as a red flag and they just like, man, I ain't even finna mess with this, you know? So that also goes back to like knowing yourself and what you can sustain, what you can deal with. And I think that is a skill, but I think it's a skill that you learn over time after making mistakes, after having some successful relationships, you know, doing some self-work and growth or whatever.
It's like basically self-awareness. And it's like people think discernment is being able to tell like that your shit sucks. Like I'm not trying to talk to you because I can spot it. But discernment is also being able to spot your own shit being off. So it's again, it goes back to self-awareness.
Does so let's say if we go with the 75-25, you know, rule, or 80-20. Do you think that people meet people at 80 already? Or do they meet them at 50 or 60 and it takes time for that person to grow to 75, 80?
I think it depends on where you meet them.
Go ahead.
I think it depends on where you meet them too. It's like, are you meeting them at the grocery store where you physically they're just in regular clothes or whatever, and you're just getting that basic conversation off, and then it's sprouting from like growing, or are you at a dating event where it's primarily focused on dating and they're just spitting you everything you want to hear? So it depends where you meet them.
I think that you probably start closer to 100.
And work
And
backwards.
then you learn the person, you learn what their problems are, what their icks are, what they mama and daddy issues are, and then I think it brings them closer to like that 75, 80. And then somewhere in there, you figure out what number you can dwell on and be happy with them.
So you saying, okay, if I was a person listening, I'm saying, okay, and correct me because this is what I'm understanding or comprehending it as. Find somebody you think is perfect. Understand that only about 2/3 of them will be, or 3/4 of them will be, and learn to accept that they won't be. Because like if I meet you and I believe that you're 100, it's actually a letdown when you start going, right? 'Cause it's like, damn, I thought you were perfect. But really to be more so grateful that they're actually still 3/4 of what you thought that they were.
So 75%.
Yeah, 75, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
75, 25,
But
80.
meeting somebody and thinking, again, we all show up with a representative,
Yeah.
and thinking that you're going to meet somebody and they're going to be the same person over time is crazy. It's not realistic. Idealism versus realism. That's why I always try to say to people, like, realistically, yeah, sure, that's just how a person is. Idealistically, yeah, you guys are going to get a white picket fence and he's going to love you and never see another woman and not be attracted to A, B, and C. Like, but that's not reality. So
I think that like my version personally of 80-20, let's just say, is a entirety or totality thing of the relationship. Because I could give you 100%. I could be that 100 for 12 months. Shit, I might be 50 the next 12 months. But then I might be 80 by the third year. And if I look at the relationship from a total of a 5 or 10 year span, it's like, hey, at this point, I was really strong and we were really much in alignment and agreement. We didn't really have any issues. I was that 100% person that you were wanting. The year after that, I might have slacked off, whatever have you.
Super sorry. If you want 50%.
Yeah,
Super sorry.
Maybe, right? So maybe I was super sorry. I wasn't focused. I wasn't as committed or whatever the case may be. But if I look at something as a whole and say, okay, in 10 years, if I average every year out, I average to 80. But I won't be 80 this whole time.
I think that's fair.
You know what I'm saying?
I actually think that's fair. And I'm only saying that because we all have like our like
Ups and downs.
Yeah, you have your ups and downs like in a relationship, but you as a person have your ups and downs. It's just like you might get stuck in a rut, or you might go through a bout of depression, or something traumatic could happen. You lose a parent. Like you as a person, you're gonna
Fluctuate.
So I feel like if you just keep a batting average, at around a certain number.
65.
Nah, you gotta go higher. You gotta be 80.
But think about it. Think about the bar you're setting, saying that you were 100% for 12 months. So she's looking at you as this warrior, and then if something happens to you, you're not that warrior anymore. But you did that to yourself, trying to just overcompensate. I think that's overcompensation, 100%. It's just
Maybe not.
too much.
Sometimes.
But he said his first year.
Sometimes you clicking on all
No.
cylinders. You have moments, and I mean, I look at everything like a sports game, right? You have moments where you're going to have that game where you can't miss a shot.
12 months is a year. That's 100%.
Well, I'm saying, let's say you have one great season, right? Then you have one off season.
Undefeated.
Then you have your sophomore slump. That's what they call it.
Okay.
It doesn't mean you're a terrible player. It just means you had a bad season. And then maybe the next year you have to go back. You have to go get coaching. You have to go do therapy. You might have to do whatever you have to do. Then you get back to where you were. So my thing is, I would prefer, my only speaking for myself, I would prefer a high average over that consistency, because I don't believe it's going to last. I mean, they say consistency is the hardest thing to do as a person. So to be consistently 80, for me, I personally believe you're chipping away at 80 for you. Because those times where you're up Those times where you're down and you're still being 80 for me, I know you must be really down because you really need to attend to yourself. You know, and I think that's why there's a fluctuation, because at some point in time in your relationship, and I'm not talking about just 1 year or 2 year relationship. I'm talking about like 4, 5, 10, 15 years. People go through ups and downs, and they got to choose themselves at some point. At some point, they got to choose
So
themselves.
why not come into that realistically, not 65. Let's say 70%.
That's cool.
So then you can see me jump up 20% to a 90. You can see me go
But like
20% down to a 50, and
But
you
what-
can recognize that, as opposed to me keeping up 100%, right? And then me telling you, hey, it was an off year.
But but I think he would. I think he's saying 100% in that first year, because you said this earlier. You have someone's avatar. You don't necessarily get like the fullness of a person. One, because they're probably not even going to let you in close enough to understand them on a certain level. So it's probably easier to be 100%. You know, and it's easier to be something that you're not.
Yeah.
That first year.
I don't think
But then,
anyone should be
aren't
starting
you-
off at 100%.
That's
I don't. But I don't.
it's easier. You know what? Let me.
Why is it easier though?
Because so the key word that I was trying to
It's like the
hone in
honeymoon
on
phase.
was alignment. See, when I'm seeking for somebody and they're seeking for somebody, at that present time, we both have whatever we are attached to in terms of desires and preferences, and they're aligning at that time. Now, in 3 years from now, my desires and preferences could change. My personality can change. Her personality can change. So we're just not aligned. It's not that I'm really 80% because I'm the bad person. I'm 80% for her new version,
Yes.
or she's 60% for my new version, right? So we're never gonna stay the same. So like when it's it's easier when I can meet you and we can align right then and there. But as we both grow, we start to go in different directions. You might like doing this. I don't want to go to the opera. Opera is now something that you now love. Now, it took me a year or two to accept opera, right? But in that present time, I was at 60% because we were arguing about going to opera, and you felt like I didn't care about you.
Oh, but the first year of the 100%, were you going to the opera?
It never existed. It wasn't a
Okay.
desire.
Okay. I
You
get
get what
you.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like we like, and I caught myself doing this too. It's like I get into a relationship with this person, and I hold them to who they were. I met them 4 years ago,
They shouldn't be the same.
and they shouldn't be the same. They're not going to be the same. So, okay, we might have some misalignment here. This version of you is not clicking with this version of me. So I might say you're 50, but really you are still the same person. It's just that my next version, I hope, can come to more so a closer alignment. So now that you're back at that 80 or 70 mark.
And that takes work.
And time.
It takes
Yeah.
work, it takes time, and it takes a lot of self-awareness.
Compromise.
Yeah, it does, because if you just be like, well, what is me?
I'm like, what? See that's when I start exiting.
Right, like
Yeah,
you're not going to
yeah.
get nowhere.
Listen, if anybody's listening, they think that a relationship or a marriage, specifically a marriage, is going to be a cakewalk, you're in for a rude awakening.
Don't do
Because it never will be.
Oh my God, don't say that.
I'm not saying don't do it, but like
Exactly.
it ain't,
Rome.
it's not a cakewalk.
Even if you have everything that you want, at some point you're gonna want something else.
Yeah.
You're a human being. You know what I'm
You got to
saying?
figure out, like you have to be committed to that marriage, and you have to figure out how to stay in that marriage. And again, this goes back to what
Sorry, I'm just looking at Rome's.
Oh, it goes back to what you were saying about like adjusting to the person that your partner evolves into. Because I mean, real talk, you shouldn't be the same 5 years later. And if you are, it's problematic.
For real.
Is this the bad? I'm sorry, I'm not married, and this is the part that kills me. Is the for better or for worse? And sickness and health, right? So sickness and health is like, okay, you get sick, that covers that. For
You
better or
lose a
for
limb.
worse, the worst could be that this person becomes a terrible, abusive person.
Well, I think that there are exclusions. Someone's abusive to you, then you handle that.
Okay.
However, you see fit. For some people that's leaving. For other people that's calling.
Not physically abusive. I'm just saying.
It also says till death do us part.
Says what?
Just kidding.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that's an anomaly. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know unless it's a bunch of abusive people around here. I don't know, but I think if someone's doing that and you value yourself, then you're gonna see about that the best way that suits you, whether that's leaving or other stuff. You know.
But when you get married, isn't it supposed to be like you're not supposed to get divorced because you took a vow under
We
God?
live in America.
No. I understand. This is the thing. So if you start all this and you're saying, listen,
It gotta be in the Bible somewhere where it say don't beat nobody or something.
no, I'm not even saying
Right.
beat. No, please don't beat people. I'm saying I say this. It should just be updated. This whole marriage thing should be updated, and you should figure out what works for
Something about the
you.
Bible.
Because the Bible needs to be updated too. But I'm saying,
Hey,
find that verse for
go to page 77.
First
We gotta
Timothy
wipe that
10,
shit out.
14.
Mm-mm.
me. Yeah, I just don't
'Cause
like.
this shit don't even make sense no more.
I just don't like that
My
part.
thing-
Get rid of 2 Timothy.
My thing is, I think there's a big difference between a relationship that is not suiting you and you're unhappy with versus a relationship where you hit a point where you're like, I could find better.